It shouldn't be a surprise to any of you that there are some bad discs out there. No, I don't want to hear it's the archer, not the arrow bullshit. You're going to look me in the eyes and say if a beginner bought a boss from Dick's that they need to learn that instead of spending the extra $20 to get themselves a Leopard 3? I'm all for people learning their discs before giving up, but there are some that disc golfers would be better off just staying the hell away from at all costs. So today, I'm going to tell you guys some of the higher up frisbees on my list to steer clear from. But don't forget to drop yours in the comments below so I can see just how lost you people really are. To start, it only makes sense to go with the most overused frisbee in all of disc golf. That, of course, being the Destroyer. There's a solid 10 of you people that should actually be using this thing. But little youngster Joey over there has no business with that. Stick to the Rattata. I'm not sure if it's from the overwhelming amount of pros that use this thing or what's causing this disconnect for beginners thinking this disc will do them some good. Personally, I'm tired of having to watch people with slower arms than a turtle race try and throw this while it dive bombs in the ground like we're back in World War II. Now on the complete opposite spectrum, once you've learned to throw a disc properly, there's no more reason to throw a DX Leopard. Once this thing starts rolling like Sonic, you know it's time to get a new disc. But for some reason, there's a level of attachment to this starter pack king that people never want to let go of, and will actually think it's smart to pull out during a round. Here's a tip. Never in your life should you pull out. Write that down if you haven't already. After about 3 rounds of this paper plate pinballing off every tree, I think a newborn baby would have enough power to turn it over. And the same could be said about the Shark. Again, I think it's a disc that Innova has been shoving down the throats of beginners like some sort of propaganda you'd see from Uncle Sam. I swear to Disc Golf Jesus, I've found more DX Sharks in the course than any other disc. I don't blame people for giving up on this waste of plastic, but I think I've found more sharks than any other frisbee. You think people will get the hint and stop buying them. But in a world discs cost $40, I could see why the $7.99 hunk of junk could be appealing. Same goes for green discs. What disc golfer can look at a fucking green disc and say, yep, that's the one I'm gonna buy, knowing damn well he's about to go to the greenest field imaginable to throw it into? I talk about how I like the expedition of finding lost discs, but I'm not trying to look for no needle in a haystack for you. There are only a couple things that tick me off. Well, that's clearly a lie. But on the top of that list is save for that dude that bags the worst colored discs and thinks I should help look every time his ass is more lost than a 6-year-old in a mall. For real, if you can't stay on the fairway, you need to buy neon discs. It's a pretty simple concept. Just like how you should stay the fuck away from dynamic at all costs. You probably aren't that surprised to hear me say that. However, after this, you might be. Guys, I threw a DD Truth for the first time in my life. I know, crazy talk. But when I was in the water searching for my lost yarn, which I never found, I stumbled upon this lovely disc, as you could tell from my reaction.
Does it got the disc right here? Yep. Alright, well fuck this disc, dude.
Well, I figured since I had this disc now, might as well play the remaining holes while I walked back to the parking lot. And that's the only scenario you'll catch me throwing Trilogy. Well, besides money, of course. So you might be thinking, why the fuck is some dude throwing a dynamic disc's truth that big of a deal? Well, I'm sure there's some of you who have been watching the channel for a while that know I absolutely hate dynamic discs. You guys might not know why, but you sure as hell know it now. That's been a pretty big character point, that if you haven't realized from all my subtle disses, I'm making everyone aware now. Cool, now that you're all caught up, what would make me throw the truth after all this time of pure hatred? I'm glad you asked, random YouTube viewer. When I was searching in the lagoon, I stumbled upon this piece of trash. To say I was upset would be a massive understatement. Now I know how my ex-girlfriends must have felt. But after a couple of hours in the water, I finally gave up. That happened on hole 7. And since I had a disc, I figured might as well play back to the car. I mean, why would I want to waste this opportunity to throw more frisbees? I guess the only thing was being left with no choice but throwing a dynamic disc, and a truth of them all. After some contemplation, I decided to suck it up and stop being a little bitch.
I've never played around using a truth. See how this does.
I could only describe my first ever throw using DD as how I expected it to go.
It's what I expected.
But the second throw, I actually had a mid-range shot. I might have sawed it off, but the disc held the slight hyzer I put it on, sneaking past all the trees for the local inside route. It's safer to assume dynamic discs are afraid of the inside of the basket than me being a bad putter. With this being a tunnel shot, I gave the truth a bit of anhyzer, and it held up nicely, even starting to fade back towards the middle of its flight for a nice soft landing at around 250 feet. Oh yeah, and the first birdie. I went back to that anhyzer, but honestly, I didn't trust it. but can you blame me? The Truth has some stability to it and will handle the torque. Let's see if my ass will stop throwing it like a sissy. But yeah, another birdie. This time, I had a group of 6 watching me who already encountered me in the water earlier. 2 of them actually helped me move the tripod, if you happen to watch the video. I played safe with the hyzer and flashed some chains.
Oh my god.
Uh,
Is that the disc?
I'll let Real-Time Jefferson describe this one for you.
that was so hard. Holy shit, that was deep as fuck. Fuck.
This shot, I went all Anheuser, and towards the end of its flight, even though it's uphill, you can see start to fade back to the left. The Truth wants to finish possibly a bit more stable than you want for your go-to dead straight mid-range, but can work for that disc you can throw hard and trust it'll have that reliable fade. Low-key reminds me of my old Eclipse Hex that would S for me no matter how hard the Anheuser I would give. I mean, the Truth feels way worse than that, but similar flights from what I'm seeing. I had never thrown a Truth before this, so I didn't know exactly what to expect. Besides that, back in the day, it would always be thrown up next to the Rock and the Buzz. Now that I've thrown all of them, I gotta say, I'm rocking with the Buzz. SS. That trio of discs is so overplayed. 2018 disc golf called, and they want their discs back.
Wow, that's fucked, champ.
Keep these to the old dudes talking about the days before the polos. I mean, we can't forget about those dudes, and it's not just because they have fire weed. But the stories from the old days need to continue on forever. But even those guys will tell you the Truth belongs nowhere in the same category. Only Cool Daddy Slick Breeze will try and tell you different. And I think he's moved on from the army and is on an all-fruit diet. Eric McCabe still wishes he could throw the Buzz SS. I know that because currently his old Tour Series is the one I'm rocking. That plastic is so nice, and the disc flies even better. There you guys go. My first round using the Truth. And well, that was fine, I guess. We'll never be using one again, but now you people can stop bitching. Just like all you guys that get angry when I talk badly about your precious glitch. Stop letting your insecurities get the better of you. It's a bad look. If you want to keep throwing this dog frisbee that would do a better job as a plate than a disc, by all means, go for it. But to say there's no other frisbee that can do what the glitch can is called effective marketing. Not because it's true, but because MVP got all you people to spread that nonsense faster than herpes. And just like it, once you're infected by the stupidity, consider yourself a lost cause. At this point, I think glitch throwers have to identify themselves at the beginning of the round just so I can feel safe. I know this is just a phase too. How do I know? Because the same shit happened with the tilt. Not sure if you've caught on by now, but the key to selling a disc is putting the word Simon Lizotte on it. And boom, sold out, just like that. Don't believe me? Remember those Doombirds? No? Well, what about the tilt? And there's already more pixel putters on the course than there are AVRs. And just leave it to Simon to make a beefy disc that everyone acknowledges they can't throw, yet will still buy it for the sole fact that his name's on it. That's some true power. How about we choose an understable fairway next time? Yeah, you're right. Not as many would sell. Not sure what's up with disc golfers and buying frisbees that won't help their game. I mean, look at the Zone OS. And before you tell me how this, and I quote, revolutionized your game, I don't count Mr. Miyagi karate chops as fixing your sidearm game. If you have to rely on that crazy amount of overstability to cancel out all that Quaker Oak you're putting on it, then you should probably spend more time working on your forehand than getting freaky. I still would rather see that than the Justice though. I got no peace with that disc, so stay clear. Similar to how I feel about anything Blizzard plastic. I'm not too passionate about this, so let me know in the comments if I'm off base on this one. But I find it hard to believe anyone needs anything this light. What benefit could throwing a 140 gram Boss do? I remember when I was just learning, getting pissed because this so-called overstable Boss was flipping faster than an emo kid's hair. I guess I could see younger players or significant others finding some success, but at that rate, why not go with a naturally understable disc that isn't, I don't know, as heavy as the spit that will be coming your way if you don't stop bagging this shit? Almost as bad as someone who bags a Rock X3. That's the entire joke. The name is dumb enough. I don't need to say any more. But don't let a pig thrower talk, or you'll never get a word in as they drown you with some bullshit about why this disc is good. They're lying straight to your face. I hate discs with thumb tracks. I've always thought they were extremely uncomfortable, and honestly provided a crutch for some players, if I can even call it that. I've just heard so many times how the top of the flight plate helps forehands out so much, only for them to bust one out worse than I've ever seen. And I've seen some pretty shitty busts in my day. I'm using the pig here as a placeholder as that disc has the biggest fan base out of any other with a thumb track, I believe. Basically what I'm saying is, stay away. Kind of like the Buzz OS. I don't know. I've just seen way too many people talking highly of the worst variation of the Buzz. Discgraph took a page straight out of Innova's playbook with that naming scheme, which is probably a reason I don't like it. Don't be lazy with your disc names. Or what I'm assuming happened, they saw the sales of the Buzz and wanted to capitalize. Too bad they made a garbage disc. You know when I talk bad about some Frisbees and say you need to throw them in a river? Yeah, that doesn't apply here as the Wahoo floats. Which is cool at first thought, but let me paint you a scenario. You're out with a couple buddies, chugging down a few brewskis, when you come up to a water carry. Your friends all cowardly back away from the tee as they berate you with insults to throw the Wahoo. Of course, with the boys on your back, you aren't going to do anything else besides chuck that bitch in the middle of the water. Which you do. Now you have to watch it float as you stand from afar, knowing you won't be able to reach it. You're left with only a couple options. The first being you walk away as your friends call you a bitch. Or two, you get wet. Sounds like a lose-lose situation to me. I would much rather my disc sadly sink like the Titanic and I never see it again. Who am I kidding? I ain't throwing it into any water. That's a you guys problem. But I know you guys too well, and you people are still going to keep bagging those shitty discs. But that's okay, because then I wouldn't be able to make these videos. If you did happen to laugh, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Or if you want to support even more, consider joining the Putt Buddies by becoming a member. You'll also get access to behind the scenes and extra unfiltered content. But don't worry, a like and subscribe go a long way too. Oh yeah, and if you want to know the type of disc golfer you need to stay the hell away from, check out the video right here.
I haven't played barefoot in forever. But you know we're back at it. Shit.